says Elliot Page says a guy hurled a transphobic threat at him last year. Something he says is a reality since coming out as transgender in 2020. He's in the middle of a promo tour for his new memoir. And I have to admit, and I don't mean to be rude or callous, but anytime something like this always seems to come out right around the time as promotional material for a product that you're selling, I am at least hesitant to believe off the cuff that this is necessarily true. I can't say whether it's true or not, but it should at least raise questions.
I think that I'm going to just go with I don't care. Like, if you got someone called you names,
yep,
and you didn't get beat up, you didn't get injured, someone called you a name, I don't freaking care.
Yep.
It's not news. Shut up.
Yep. So
you're supposed to be a man. Man up.
Dude, I get called worse things than that on the internet every day.
Every day.
They're in the chat. They're saying there's going to be so much misgendering. That's I try to be respectful.
There's going to be a lot of misgendering in the chat.
Elliot Page says the man screamed, "I'm going to effing gay bash you." I'm not going to say those words.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to say those words. It's very rude. He also claims that the man followed him by yelling, "This is why I need a gun." That seems like anti-2A propaganda. And says this is after Elliot Page had gone inside and asked an employee for help. Elliot Page also points out that he's very lucky that he can afford private security. So this seems like a fantastic Second Amendment argument to me.
Yeah, I don't care. So what? Someone called you a name. So what?
There was also the story where Elliot Page was at a party and a unnamed male movie star or actor that he refers to as an acquaintance says, there's no such thing as being gay. I will, and then talks about SA or like having sex with Elliot Page and basically making them not gay, which is like, by not naming the person, I have a problem with that because what happens is if you name the person, you can distill this down to an individual, and then not everybody's a bad person. But when you just say an unknown male says this, it forces people to then broaden it outward and put that on all of society. And that's not fair because weirdos in Hollywood are not a good indicator of what the rest of society is like.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
Fair? Like that's my problem with this. Like I 100% believe that story is true. The story at the party where the guy says that to her. There, I did it again. But like the point is that I 100% believe that. What I don't think is fair is that you're now making it society's problem by not making this the case of an individual. This is something that you could talk about in your book. It's plenty juicy. It's plenty spicy. You could get a lot of books sold for this. But this becomes a societal issue now because you're not willing to name the individual that caused the harm. Yeah. And therefore it gets put on to all men are like this. And whether you want to believe it or not, that's how it's felt by society because then men feel like they're saying that they're going to talk like this, that society thinks that they behave this way.
Then the thing is, like, in LA in broad
You're still
daylight.
asking us to be offended because a dude said something.
Yeah.
At a party.
Yeah, the whole thing hinges on you should feel bad for me because someone called me a name.
So buy my book.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I love he announces his crime. Like, if I am going to mug you illegally.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I don't care.
But saying I'm going to gay bash, it sounds like somebody going up to somebody and saying I'm going to do a racism.
Yeah.
Like I am here to do this.
I'm gonna do a gay bash.
Yeah. That doesn't seem real to me. But like I have a hard time.
I'm gonna do a heckin' bamboozle.
If this had come out and there were not a book coming out, I would sit here and I would go, I mean, maybe. Like, that sucks if that happened.
The other thing that's funny is I looked up the Jezebel article on the first incident, the one at the party years ago. And that party was not before it was before Elliot Page had transitioned. So Elliot Page was Ellen Page and was just gay at the time. And this person says that's not real. You look at the comment section and it's the most hilarious Jezebel list of like all the people they've made into boogeyman. Someone's like, it was probably Elon Musk. It was probably Chris Pratt and Mel Gibson at the same time. And I'm like, they literally picture like this weird cabal of like either like heterodox or just regular, the few normal people in Hollywood, and they've turned them into supervillains. So it's like they're like, and then the person says, "Well, I don't know if it could have been Elon Musk because they said that person came and apologized the next day at the gym, and Elon Musk doesn't go to the gym." I'm like, well, that's probably right, but Elon Musk has probably got a brain implant someday that's going to keep him healthy. It's not going to matter.
I think what it really speaks to, though, is the reaction that we all kind of had was you got called a name, so what? I think it shows you how insulated these people's lives are, that they never have to deal with anybody saying anything critical about them, and that's why they blow up every time somebody insults them, somebody criticizes them. It can never just be that somebody was being an ass. It's always got to be, they're targeting my identity, this is because I'm so special, and I'm supposed to be treated differently, and then when you get treated like everybody else, it's not that you're scared, it's not that you're offended, it's that your ego is bruised, that somebody deigned to treat you the way they would treat anyone else. That's why they're pissed.
They feign this kind of like, you shouldn't attack a person for who they are, you should attack them for, substantive reasons. But then let's talk about Chris Pratt. What did he do? Well, he didn't have to do anything. It's the person he is that
what
I
did
hate.
Chris Pratt do? Go to church.
That's
true.
But did he? Did he really?
He didn't go to the church they said he went to.
Doesn't matter.
He went to a church. They said he went to a hateful church, and then it turned out he didn't even go to that church.
It doesn't matter which church it is. It's only like it will always be considered a hateful church.
It's not where you are. It's where you're not, and he's not with them.
Exactly.
Also, for Elliot Page, it's so blatantly book selling time. Like that's the problem I have with it. Because this happens most of the time with these he said, she said stories. I'm thinking back to when Pamela Anderson released her book, and she's like, and then Tim Allen just walked out of his dressing room and flashed me. I'm like, well, he could have, I guess. Sounds like something that would have happened in the 90s, but I don't know, and I can't prove it.
I actually read up on that one, and apparently it was nowhere near what it was presented as. It was that like that person had to do a nude scene, and Tim like made a joke, and they both laughed about it. Like,
I just looked at Twitter, and Jussie Smollett is trending with it.
Oh no.
Under entertainment. So.
Some PR manager is getting so fired today.
And it's like, and then the guy ran off and said, "This is MAGA country." And I was like, "We're in Los Angeles. I don't know if that's really."
It's 2023. This is DeSantis country.
It's completely plausible, and I can't stand it because look, and it's like you said, they make it about their identity, but then they ascribe these individual actions that are done by individual people, and ascribe it to whole swaths of the population by blanketing the term as that everybody who looks like this person, ironically, is a bad person for judging me.
The things that he's not.
Yeah.
They're communists, they're collectivists, and therefore where we get like what one does, so do all, and therefore the entire whatever legion must pay the price for the sins of the one.
Any story like this ever happened to you guys?
Not a very individualist.
What do you mean?
Has anybody ever come up to you and said something like, I'm trying to think of like there was as bad of a comedian as Dane Cook might have been. He had a thing where he talked about where he's like I want to just go up to a kid and smash ice cream into his face and run away because then nobody would believe him if he said, he's like, and I say, and you remember me for fucking ever. And he's like, and then just run away.
Yep.
Like, because nobody would believe that it happened. Like, has anything like this ever happened to you where somebody just ran up to you and said like, it says like, you're glad, like, good one, 4 eyes, and then just ran off. Like in the YouTube comments all the time. People say awful things about me in the YouTube comments all the time.
I got called controlled opposition like 3 weeks ago.
There you go.
That was the most insulting thing you could ever call me.
There you go. Like, has anything like this ever happened to you? Like, where like, but the thing is, like, you don't make your immutable characteristics core to who you are as part of your
One
persona.
did happen to me, and I have to tell you about it.
Go for it.
I was on the phone. I was on FaceTime, actually, so somebody did see it. But the event was incredible. I was driving in Indianapolis, and it was a bottleneck where 2 lanes come down into one, and I went in front of a state truck, like a highway, not patrol, highway maintenance.
Okay.
And went in front, and then it split back open again to a stoplight, and like it was a left turn lane, and they were turning left, and so they crawled up to next to me, and a dude gets out of the truck, out of the driver's side of the truck, walks over, my window is down, punches me in the face through the window.
What?
Yes.
When was this?
Through the window.
2021.
Broke the window.
Through the window. My window was open.
Oh, okay.
So he, like, And I was literally like, I was talking to him as he was approaching, and I had somebody on FaceTime, and I was like, hey, like, sorry, I had to like merge, so I had to like drive around him because it was a construction thing.
And the dude just punched you in the face.
Just punched me in the face.
And you're just like, no one's gonna freaking believe me.
Well, no, like there was one person who saw it.
So somebody saw it.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't. What do I? Okay, I'm gonna keep driving. Like I don't know what to do.
Dude, that's freaking
like,
crazy.
They're like, you should report them. I was like, what do I say?
See, when you write,
what do I say? Who do I call?
When you write your book, you're gonna be like, and then I parked, and then the
like,
guy got out,
like,
and he was like,
I was just glad one person saw it.
there you go,
Like one person saw it,
and the guy.
and it was a business call. Like I was talking to a realtor to go photograph a house, and just like leaned into the window. Just clocked me.
That's
like
insane.
totally landed it right here. I was
Anything like this ever happened to you? Given like you're like famous, so like the people come up to you and have things to say that are just rude
you
for
know,
the sake-
there are people that'll holler stuff, but for the most part, it doesn't happen because when people come out to where I am, most of the time they're pretty much fans and stuff. So there's one time a kid, like in the UK, some kid, this is years and years ago, some kid came up to me and had a problem with like the fact that I'm like pro private ownership of guns. Like he was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I was like, whatever.
Where's your license for that opinion, mate?
I'm like, listen, go to a dentist and then talk to me, right? And I'll take you seriously.
Don't you have a
But that's
TV
about
license
it.
to pay for?
Yeah. What are you doing? Now, don't you have to go work overtime so that
You should have
you're
reported him
allowed
for
to
hate
have a
speech. You would go to
television?
jail.
Yeah. I mean, then there was also like, and this is it's a different topic. So
the
no,
thing,
just
the thing about it
that's
that's
it.
interesting is like, look, it's stressful enough if you choose the path of somebody in Hollywood where you're putting yourself in a spotlight and therefore open to critique all the time. But then to do it on the level of something as personal as your individualist identity, meaning like your a fashionable identity like that now, where it's so ripe for criticism in a lot of respects, because people have questions, and we're just at a very unique time in history where who you are as an individual is becoming an extremely hot topic in a way that I don't know if it has been in recent years, and to then make that part of your identity and part of your marketing strategy for who you are.
It's a defense mechanism.
It's a defense, yeah.
Right,
well, it's to ward off criticism.
Yeah,
I
I
say
mean,
you're not allowed to criticize me.
So there's a lot of times, like people talk about like cancel culture and boycotts with businesses and stuff, and a big part of the reason why they do it is because they're like, okay, we're getting all this heat and this is bad attention, so we'll do whatever the noisy people are saying, and the goal is just to make noise for this particular topic to get compliance. And that's all it is on a personal level too. It's like, oh, this person, we can attack this person's identity to try and get to change their behavior. And that, that's the long and short of it.
I had frosted tips for a little while last year. And I did get called a twink once, but that's about the closest I got.
See, but you made the decision to have the frosted tips.
No,
to get what's coming to you.
My followers made the decision for me to have frosted tips.
See, I won in that respect. I had to dye my hair blonde, and I got more attention from the ladies than I had in years.
I did get a lot more attention from women when I had the frosted tips, but I think
negative?
it's because they assumed I was maybe gay and therefore not a
Safe.
threat.
Yeah.
And I did get a lot of attention from men. I had a lot of DMs that were, Lore Lodge OnlyFans win. I still get those messages sometimes.
So the question is, Lore Lodge OnlyFans.
Oh my
when?
God.
Like,
That's the poll tomorrow.
that's we'll have to ask. All right. So look, for Elliot Page, you're selling a book. I get it. Could you maybe not try to destroy the fabric of society while you're selling your little novel? That seems fair to me.
Some people just wanna watch the world
if it
burn.
did happen, then actually, you know what? There's more to this, because then the question is, Elliot Page says, I don't feel safe in LA. Well, then where?
Then
Like Portland, and that's
Portland.
it?
Seattle,
that it?
maybe.
Seattle? Where else would you feel safe? Like, it's a fair question.
I do think also if Elliot Page had simply said, I was walking down the street and somebody said a gay slur at me, I had that been the story, I would have been like, I believe that. That seems entirely. It's the wording of what exactly was it?
I'm going to effing gay bash you.
Yeah, that one.
I did. They're gonna be like, yeah, I saw Elliot Page at the supermarket yesterday, and I totally did a gay bash.
Yeah.
Like it sounds fake.
Like that's not. I mean, I don't know how many bad people you guys know, but I knew some bad people in college, and that's not something that they would have said.
Yeah.
They would have said far more colorful things, actually.
Oh yeah, like as somebody who's skated for 25 years, and you went to a skate park and you got hurt. Well, I point this out all the time. Like in the current climate we live in, where everybody's pretending that they like each other, and like everybody's getting along and inclusion and this and that. I go to the skate park and like, this is the reason I skated. In Minnesota, you skated street for so long is because you just skate by like with your friends who do the sport that you do. I go to a skate park now. I'm like, I miss it when everybody would be mean to me here.
Yeah.
Like I like. Remember when you'd come in and somebody would be like, hey, and then some slur would get hurled at you? Those were the good old days. It made me feel right at home. It really did.
Everyone just needs to, at the age of 14, be forced to sit through a Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
Yeah.
You will be so much better adjusted going into the adult world.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.